So to make a long story a little bit shorter, I resigned from my job. I decided to transition on, and y'all know, look, I'm one of them girls that I don't quit a job unless I know for a fact I have something else lined up. Okay, let me make sure I'm not ashy. Ooh, I'll be right back, y'all. Let me go get some lotion. Hold on. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl Sierra Danae. For those of you who do not know me, we talk about Jesus, we talk about life, we talk about all the things. Just all the things. So thank you for tuning in with me. So this week, okay, so last week y'all saw I missed the video. I apologize, okay? It's been a lot going on and we're gonna talk about it, okay? So to make a long story a little bit shorter, I resigned from my job. I decided to transition on, and y'all know, look, I'm one of them girls that I don't quit a job unless I know for a fact I have something else lined up, okay? Let me make sure I'm not ashy. Ooh, I'll be right back, y'all. Let me go get some lotion. Hold on. Whew, okay. Your girl had to get it together. Okay. So, yes, your girl had another job lined up. And so I want to talk about a couple things with this job because this job really kind of took its toll. More than I thought it would. So I definitely dealt with imposter syndrome. Just kind of feeling like I couldn't do the job. But I was actually doing the job. But just feeling inadequate. But the reason why I feel like I felt inadequate wasn't even because, like I said, that I couldn't do the job. It was because lack of training is so big. Like when people don't want to actually train you to do what you need to do, or the person who was supposed to train you left the 2 weeks, during the 2 weeks that she was supposed to be training me, and then she came back and only had to train me for that week. It was like, okay, there was no room. I really didn't have any training. So you're coming in with limited knowledge. And then on top of that, you're not given a lot of resources to really even, know what you're supposed to do. I was flailing around for sure. So yeah, you can imagine when you are, hit with limited resources, you don't really know what to do. And you're having to do all the research and basically start from the bottom just to even reach the level of knowledge that you needed to be at. It got exhausting. You know what I'm saying? It got really tiring just not knowing certain things, and then no one knowing how to do your job because they're so busy doing their own, and everything is so segregated. It was just a lot. So there was that. And then the boss didn't help as much either because the boss, okay, we'll just say the boss at the time, or still currently, doesn't even have a degree in IT, okay? This is where I quickly learned in this job that it's not about what you know, it's really about who you know. And I think that also pertains a lot to like office jobs in general. I think when you're a Black woman and you're quiet and you're the only Black woman, by the way, let me just say that. You're the only Black woman in this department and you're quiet. I think a lot of times, unfortunately, it is taken offensively that no, I don't want to go to lunch with y'all. And it's not because I don't like y'all. It's not because, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times it's like they want you to be in this clique. And I'm like, no, I want to go to lunch when I want to go to lunch. I am perfectly fine, eating by myself. And I'm also just one of those people, I like to go to work and go home. Would it be nice? Yes, it would be extremely nice to have someone who was like a work bestie. I always, am kind of, I won't say envious, but I do wish that I had a work bestie. You know what I'm saying? Some people are very blessed to have that, whereas I didn't have that at all. I was very isolated. I was very, to myself. And that wasn't on purpose. It was just, I'm not into making phony relationships just because. Like, just because we work together, we're supposed to be close? No. I always wanted something genuine. And that's just who I am. So, yeah, the boss was just more concerned about their image than they were about the people that worked under them. And so, yeah, it just wasn't working out. And so when the boss called me in to apparently rip me a new one, I really saw them for who they were. And I was like, and it's interesting to me because they actually messaged me via chat and was like, I'm sorry, I just, I want to apologize for making you upset. But it was like, you didn't necessarily, well, you did piss me off. But it was just, I think I was just overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm already dealing with this thing that you threw on my plate that you knew I didn't know how to do. I'm not a report writer. So, yeah. I'm like, and you hired me knowing that. I don't go on my interviews and lie. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I profess to be saved, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go on an interview and just flat out lie. I'm very confident in the skills that I do bring. But for you to sit there and you had a report writer, you fired them, and then you made us take on that extra workload and expected us to learn SQL. Yeah, no. We weren't going to be expert report writers. It was just how the boss went about it. So regardless, after that ripping of a new one, I clearly saw who my boss was. And I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. That's when I really made up in my mind, like, okay, it's time to get serious about finding me another job. And so that segues me into how I got the next job. So I applied for it, obviously. And then I didn't hear anything from them. I thought they ghosted me. I went on an interview, and I might show the clip because I have some content from that. Okay, y'all, I'm literally going on an interview. So, I already told y'all, but I'm trying to pivot. So we're gonna see where this goes. I just want the Lord's will to be done because, I might have to save that for a video, but your girl is tired, all right? Your girl is tired because working for toxic companies, working for toxic managers is just not it. And, sometimes you might think that money can mitigate all of that, but it doesn't, because anything that disrupts my peace of mind, I got to go. I prefer my peace over the dollar at the end of the day. Not saying that I'm going to accept anything less, right? I still got to maintain my lifestyle, but at the same time, I would like to have both in tandem, okay? Give me my peace and my money, okay? Give me my money, y'all. Give me my peace and my money. But, yeah, I did the interview. Ladies were nice, and then I didn't hear anything from them. So, me, I'm over here. I felt like, okay, I know y'all liked me because I know how to interview well. That's one thing I do know how to do. I pretty much land most of the jobs that I go for. It's not to toot my own horn or nothing, but I do interview very well. And so, because I'm genuine, I go in there being myself, and just explaining. I come in showing them what they're gonna get, and also showing them like, hey, I know that your job is requiring this. I may not be able to know how to, I may not know how to do that, but I can show you this, and this strong skill that I have here, you won't be disappointed. And so, yeah, didn't hear anything from them. And so I don't know if HR was just slow or what, but I did send them an email and was like, hey, your girl is still interested, and so They eventually did send me an email. The lady was like, you know, I probably will post it somewhere up here on this side, whatever. But yeah, basically saying, you know, she wanted to call me. And I was like, well, this has to be good because you don't really call if it's bad news. So, yep, offered me the job. And baby, that same day, I put in that resignation immediately. I was not playing. I was like, soon as I got all the information, she sent me the email. Baby, I signed that offer letter so quick and fast at work, okay? And was like, dear so-and-so, or the boss, baby, 2 weeks. And let me tell you about that. I had said 2 weeks from the date that I had put on there. I did have a vacation coming up, y'all. This is what I thought was very interesting about this, was that the boss was so petty. Normally, and I've never had a job that didn't ever let me finish a 2 weeks notice. I was like, so this is how I knew the boss was being extremely petty. The boss was like, she called me on my last day. The boss called me in there. Did I say she? Okay, yeah, it's a girl. We'll just go ahead and let it on out. She called me in there. And first question, here's what I thought was crazy. It was like, if you were going to let me go, why let me finish the entire day? Why not just, you could have called me early this morning if you were contemplating on letting me just go, you know? But of course, anyway, she called me in and was like, so I'm hearing that you're leaving sooner. And I was like, no. I was like, and I sent her, after that meeting or whatever, I sent her 2 emails where I specifically stated that I'm leaving on July 29th. That was the date that I had set for July 29th. So I was like, no, I told them July 29th. I explained with all the project people. I let them all know what was going on. And so she was like, okay. So she let me leave. So I go back to, you know, my seat or whatever. And then she calls me back into the office a couple hours later and was like, we're going to let you go. I was like, okay, I did like this, whatever. Bye. You know, and y'all, I want to say something. I'm saved. I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. But y'all, we get upset. I want to put a PSA out there. Christians get upset. Christians do feel some type of way. And, you know, I just thought it was extremely petty because, number one, I did everything that my boss told me to do. Everything that she told me to do. If she needed me to go fix something, troubleshoot something, I did it. I didn't give her any talk back. I didn't give her any lip. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I did my job. I really, really sincerely did. And so I just didn't think a lot of the actions that she did towards me, especially that, was warranted. I knew I had a vacation coming up, but I really actually wanted to complete my 2 weeks so that, you know, I could at least make sure everything was up to par. I had already made my transition letter. I had already, you know, explained how to do my daily files, all this other stuff. But I guess, you know, and I still have some property that needs to be returned. You know, and it's like, I can't even get on the premises because I don't have my badge no more. Regardless, at the end of the day, you know, it was just rushed because obviously, you know, it just felt vindictive. That's all I have to say. It was like, you couldn't fire me because the Holy Spirit wasn't going to let you. You know, you couldn't fire me. So this was kind of like your get back. Anyways, whatever. I was like, whatever. Okay. It is what it is. I got my stuff and left. But I just felt like that was just unprofessional. And then let me just ask this for all my professional girlies out there. What is the point and putting a 2 weeks notice in to let your boss know and be courteous, you know, that you're leaving, if they're just gonna let you go before your 2 weeks. Because at this point, I'm being just honest. I probably won't put in a 2 weeks notice next time. Because if I know you're gonna let me go and you're not even gonna let me like wrap things up, which would be, you know, better for you, what's the point? I don't know, y'all. Regardless, I feel like I can breathe now, you know, that I have another job lined up. I'm just glad that that is over. So that's kind of what's been going on with me as far as that is concerned. I'm like, it's just that's just a lot. That's why I was like, you know what? And I've been trying to just spend time with my kid, y'all. I'm like, I feel like my job is just kind of taking me from being able to just, you know, go swimming with my kid and just enjoy and be present and not have to worry about, oh man, I gotta get up early in the morning, I gotta deal with these people, and just feeling, y'all, burnt out. Oh my God, I didn't even know I was burnt out until I was in school back in March, and I was doing a what was this class? This class was sociology, and I wrote a paper. And at that time, I really knew, I was like, this job is really taking its toll on me. But when I really looked up the symptoms of burnout, when you are laying in the bed and you feel like you can hardly get up and you don't want to be there and you're tired and you are, you know you have a lot to do, but it's like you can't motivate yourself to do it. It was a lot. I knew I was burnt out. I knew I was burnt out. So I just want to say, number one, I bless God for allowing me to get another job. I'm just praying, and I'm praying that you guys will pray with me that this job will be a job where I will feel confident, a job where I will have great coworkers. You know, I just want to get along, and I want to actually have some type of rapport with my coworkers, better than what I did in the past, because that matters. You know, the dollar, it matters just as much, but I need to have a good relationship with the people that I work with, because you're there with them for 8+ hours of the day. And if I'm going to be with you 8+ hours of the day, I would actually like you. You know what I'm saying? It would just make things better. It would just, I don't know. Am I alone in that? I'm like, shoot, I wish I could have a work bestie. That would be amazing. But if I can't, it is what it is. I've been going so long, you know, without one. I'm like, so it is what it is. But moving on. I wanted to talk about something else that I just recently thought about. What was I watching? What triggered this thought? Oh, I know what I was doing. So I was looking at this post of, I guess, Devon Franklin and his fiance. And for those that may not know, Devon Franklin was married to a woman named Megan Good, an actress named Megan Good, whatever. And so I was looking at the post, and, you know, I'm not going to put my opinion on that situation. I'll just say this. I want to know, and this is from both stances, so maybe y'all can answer this in the comments.
And please actually answer in the comments. Y'all just be watching and don't be commenting. I'm sorry.
Please comment. Comment. Because I really be wanting answers, y'all. So I just be wanting to know, like, what do y'all think about... Okay, let me say it this way. I think that some men and women who claim to be followers of Christ have different standards of what a godly man or a godly woman looks like to them. I'm going to say that again. I think that some men and women who claim to be followers of Christ have different standards of what it means to be a godly man or a godly woman. So yeah, like, I just want to get some clarification as to what we are truly looking for, both men and women, on what do you consider to be a godly woman and a godly man. So for me personally, it's not just someone who goes to church occasionally. It's someone who actually does attend church, doesn't forsake the body of Christ. It's actually someone who prays, who reads their word, who has an actual relationship with Jesus. I'm not talking about no performative relationship. I'm talking about whether you had whether I was there or not, you're still going to make sure that you spend that time with God. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for someone who just plays church. I want someone who actually, or desires someone who actually will put God before me. What's my thing say back here? Can y'all see that? No, y'all can't. Y'all can't see that. But I have a thing back here that says put God first. So it's just like, I want a man who truly does put God first, because I promise you, he gonna come first for me. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't want it to be thought strange. Like when I say, okay, I'm finna go pray, or I'm finna read my word, or I need to spend time with the Lord. I don't want that to be foreign. I don't want you looking at me crazy. When you hear me, okay, don't be looking at me crazy. I don't want that. If I'm boogering and snotting in my closet, I don't want that. Okay? Don't be looking at me crazy when I'm speaking in tongues. Don't be looking at me crazy when I go up and worship, because you need to be the one going up there with me. I don't want that. I need me a man that understands, like, I don't just worship at church. I don't just worship at church. I worship at home, in the privacy of my own home. My child will be looking at me, and she's so used to it. Honestly, she's very unbothered. She know what it is. I love Jesus. And that's why I'm just like, I don't know. Because I do question sometimes. Like, I do see some men that go for women that I be like, oh, okay. Not even trying to be shady, y'all. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay. Okay. It be questionable sometimes. But, whatever. That ain't it ain't none of my business. Okay? It ain't none of my business. But anyway, I've been on here long enough. I just wanted to kind of bring that thought to your mind, and just kind of catch y'all up with my life, because in the midst of this break that I'm kind of on, since I got, transitioned through a lot earlier than was expected. I just been at home trying to organize my life, y'all. There's some things that I feel like God is really bringing to the forefront about discipline, about consistency, in many aspects, with losing weight, with, being healthy, and just prayer and reading my word, and just, because I do it, but could I be better? Absolutely. So, y'all just be praying with me, my little familia. Anyway, but that's all I have for y'all. Just keep me in your prayers. I'm praying for y'all. And one more nugget before I go. You just don't know what people are going through. And so, I want to do like a prayer request thing. If y'all have any prayer requests, put them in the comments. I will be praying. I will be in prayer, interceding, because I'm really realizing, like, you know, I mean, I've always known this, but it's like sometimes we just forget that there are people who are really going through things that we're not aware. And so if you guys have any prayer requests, put them in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Spread the word, y'all. I love y'all. And God bless y'all. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. All right. See y'all later.
Hide it, gotta be God. It's gotta be Jesus. Gotta be.